beginning.
All right. Let me know if y'all still hearing double. Um, on my side, I only hear myself, so that don't help. But I have up my YouTube just to see if I hear double. Hold on, it's going live on my end. Let me see what I hear. Yeah, I don't. My side, I only hear myself. Yeah, I don't. I don't hear. I don't hear. I don't hear double. Okay. Well, welcome back. I'm put this closer to me because that's too far away from me. And I gotta take my glasses off. All right, cool. We good. Yeah, I don't know why the intro was like that. But welcome back. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good week. We're closer and closer to 2026. I hope you all did everything you want to do. I know I didn't. I got to work on some stuff today for the end of the year. For this is the other part that people don't talk about. Let me start off with this. Everybody tell you all to go out there and get these certs, but they don't tell you you got to maintain them damn certs. You got to get those continual education credits. You got to take another cert. So that's why I say you'll always be a forever learner. They don't tell you that part about the certs because you spent all this time getting the cert. Now the cert is about to expire, and you got to scramble to pay the continual education credits. You got to pay for the CEUs. You got to take another class. You got to study, and then you turn around and you got to apply all that stuff to something, right? Whether it be a job or on your resume or the new job that you're going to. Nobody ever talks about that. They just tell you to go get these certs, but they don't tell you the pain of getting those certs. So it's plenty of people. I know plenty of people with 15 certs. Now you got to ask yourself, which one do I maintain? Which one is relevant to the job that I'm at? And if I switch jobs, would this also work in that area? So it's always that problem when it comes down to search, right? That's always that problem. All right, I'm gonna answer these two questions and then we're gonna get into the show. Um, Eric, you asked about the $10 million plan. I have to go back and look at that one. Because I think you saw was the bucket strategy for that, and then what does it look like to make 10 million in tech, which is possible. It's possible. Um the possibility though is has to come down to a strategy, right? What is the strategy? Like what and you could talk about this in multiple ways. Well, the first way is finding an employer that contributes to your 401k more than 6%. Really more like 15 to 20% is what you want. Finding an employer that actually gives more in money or RSUs, either or. Netflix is a good example of that. They pay you more money so you can build up quicker, but you're taxed, on that money as well too. The other piece is the RSUs, or finding a company that's going to IPO, or taking that money that you make and then invest in it, right? So that investment could be stocks, it could be real estate, it could be just buying businesses, it could be consulting, it could be you going into property management. It's a number of ways to look at this and say what it is that you want, how you can make that 10 million. But the question is, how much time do you have in order to do that? And do you have enough time where you can help diversify? Meaning, like, you can bring someone in to help you, meaning that you can also uh, farm out some daily tasks, automate those. This is where not just AI, but a human aspect of, I think we still need a human aspect of things as we do it. I don't know, have you guys been watching these AI screening videos and AI interviews coming up? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We're testing two broccoli. Oh yeah, the close up shot. I don't know. I didn't look at it on I don't have my phone up here. On my mobile is on my tablet is just like a regular thing. I don't know what it looks like on the phone. But whatever. And then another question that you had. Thank you for watching episode 124. I think it's one of the better episodes to me. I think it lays out in detail what that looks like. Let me see. It was another question that you had. Someone had, are there a lot of government contracting jobs for Linux sysadmins overseas? It may not be labeled Linux sysadmin, and may be labeled system administration or DevSecOps, but yes, there is a lot of overseas jobs for that type of capability. In particular, Europe and Australia. Um, I mean, I won't call this overseas, but there are plenty of Linux jobs in Hawaii. It's kind of overseas to me in the sense of, I understand it's the United States, but you're 2,500 miles from the nearest landmass. So go figure there. Oh, messages. Yeah. Now, what's funny is on my on here on YouTube, I see all the messages on the on StreamYard, but on YouTube, I don't see everybody's messages. Like, I'm only seeing certain messages, like certain people. I don't see everybody's messages. So just a FYI, if you're watching from YouTube, um, I'm not seeing everybody's messages go back and forth. Like, let me see. The message that you just wrote, Eric, I don't see that on YouTube. I don't know. Let me go back out and come back in. Maybe I'm missing something. No, I'm not seeing it. I know. So you may some of you all out there may not be seeing the messages that I'm seeing. Just a FYI, because there's some I don't know what's going on there when it comes to it. All right, so I'm just gonna go down the line today, and then we'll end up in some petty tea topics. And then we'll go from there. Like, yeah, you don't see you don't see those messages. I don't see where Eric posted like here. So Eric posted this episode 124 was fire. I've been listening to it all morning. If you look on YouTube right now, you don't see that message in the chat, but I see that message. And I don't know why that D and I only see that message, which is interesting. So what I'll try to do is highlight folks whose messages that I don't see on there and go from there. Like, yeah, I don't know. Some of them I don't see. All right. So we're gonna get started with this lady um who is 60 years old with no retirement money, nothing saved up, this, that, and the other. And I know y'all are gonna get like, oh no, what happened? So we're gonna find out what happened to her. She only has 933 subscribers. We always tell you all, don't wash up at the spigot, don't get caught in the cemetery taking a shower, and so forth. But let's listen to her story and let's think of ways, or at least I've given you ways, not not to do these things and so forth. Yeah, you know what, Jasmine, I don't want to even talk about him getting finesse by the Insta model. They said that Insta model was an AI model, and what he sent $125,000 to it, to the model. I don't know, something crazy he sent to that model. Um, I can go on. We could talk about the guy at the University of Michigan and so forth. Talking about his blood is on people's hands and all this, that, and the other. Like, we can go on. We can go on. You know, I'm just gonna say this. This the petty T in me. That's great leadership. That's great leadership. All right, let's go. All right, let's talk about old girl here. I am sharing. You guys should be able to hear. Let's make this bigger and let's get into it.
I've been surviving, not thriving. I'm 60, so that's a long time. But I am on a mission to make 60 and beyond, 80, 85, 90.
First off, let's pause. Why does she have the microphone attached to a spatula? Do y'all see that? It creative, but she's got the microphone attached to the spatula. Uh-oh. Somebody says it's an echo. D. So let me turn down my volume. Hold on. And tell me if you still get an echo.
95, who knows? My best years yet. That may sound ridiculous to some of you.
Volume. Okay.
But I think we can do it if we have the right mindset and
so now I turn down my volume.
Really focusing on the fact that aging in America, which is where I am,
so let me pause.
Can be on our terms. Hi, if you're new.
I think I know what's going on. 1 second. Let me stop presenting. And then let me also stop sharing. And then let me go back in, because I think what happened is on here. Let me see. Let me hit share there. And we turn volume up here. And then let me know if you all still get an echo. Hold on. And then we turn my volume. Yeah, my volume up. All right.
Up to this point, I've been surviving, not thriving. I'm 60, so that's a long time.
All right, so is there still an echo there? Okay.
But I am on a mission to make 60 and beyond, 80, 85, 90, 95, who knows, my best years yet.
All right, so she's 60 years old and she's looking to make 80,000, 70, 80,000, and she's 60, looking to continue to work, and you'll hear more about her story.
That may sound ridiculous to some of you, but I think we can do it if we have the right mindset and are really focusing on the fact that aging in America, which is where I am, can be on our terms. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Kim. I am, as I mentioned, trying to be intentional about making years 60 and beyond the best years yet. And some days, like today, as a matter of fact, that feels a little depressing. How did I end up here? And I'll go into a little bit about what my story is briefly, just for context. But more days than not, I am determined that my past doesn't predict my future, and that I am in a unique position with the wisdom and life skills that 60 years of living have brought me. And thankfully, I have good health. My kids are raised, and I'm just gonna really be intentional about not feeling like my life is over and I'm on the backside. And so, what's the point? But making these years that I have left great. So I'm in a very unique position, I think. If my YouTube, what YouTube feeds me is any indicator, most of the people my age, I see kind of two types of videos from the like over 50 creators. One is retirement. I'm about to retire. I retired. This is what I do with my money. This is what I'm doing in retirement. That's fantastic. This girl will never retire. I have nothing. So, and I'm not interested in hearing any of your advice or judgments about that. It is what it is for a variety of reasons. And so I will never retire. So here's what I'm doing. I am choosing to think of it as staying active.
So we'll pause right there. She's 60. She's not going to retire. She doesn't have any money to retire. She has kids, and she's accepted this as what she's going to do. So the question is, what is life going to look like for you at 60? I talk about this often for a lot of people in terms of like, what does retirement look like? You don't have to be 60 and retire. You can retire early. What does it look like for you to earn money? A lot of people say all the time that money shouldn't be a driving force. They only say that when they have it. They don't say it when they don't have it. They don't say it when they're sitting in the hospital and the medical bills are coming in. They don't say it when it's time to get a new roof over your head. They're not saying that. They're not saying it when it's time to go rent, and they're not saying it when they go pull their credit and they can't afford to get into said location or apply, get whatever, or their credit stops them from getting a job. It is not said then. So with all that being said, what does 60 look like for you? Take yourself and say, you can be any age. You don't have to be 60. This could be you at any age. So do you have money saved up? Are you saving? Are you looking for are you looking to work for the rest of your life? Do you have the skill set to work for the rest of your life? Are you relevant in the market? Right? Are you relevant in the market? Right? That's the question that people got to ask. So let's continue.
Me younger, longer, keep me healthier, keep me sharper. So if you're in the same boat, I know when you look at those videos, it's like, how did I end up here? Like, as my mom would say, I don't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. But we've all gotten here for a variety of reasons. And the first thing is acceptance. This is where we are. So what are we going to do about it? And how can we make the best of it? So that's how I'm choosing to think of it. The other kind of videos I see are like beauty and what to wear. And, that's fantastic too. That's just, first of all, that's just not anything I've ever really been interested in. I'm kind of a no frills person, probably from how I was raised, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is a little bit unique because I'm kind of living the life of a college student, like a 20-year-old. So a little bit about me. If I haven't said it, my name is Kim. Thank you for being here. This is my third attempt to have a YouTube channel. The desire won't go away. I feel like I get so much from people that I watch on YouTube. I feel like I have things to say. I just feel like I need to be on here. So here's my third attempt. But a little bit about me. As I said, I'm 60. My 60-year-old living as a 20-year-old I live in a small apartment. You can probably see it's a little one-bedroom apartment. I live in the DFW area. I am in college. I am getting a graduate degree in social work to become a therapist. I'm just finishing my second year.
All right, she's getting a degree in social work to become a therapist. She's 60. So I don't know, was that one of the ones that was classified as not a profession? Didn't that just come out? I don't know. I got to go back and look at the list. At that, we should probably have a deeper dive, a deeper conversation on what that means. So again, I'm highlighting things that I know some of you think about. You're like, oh, what do I really want to do with my life? Where do I want to be? Do I want to do I need to go back to school? They're saying no, go get a trade. You'll thank me later, this, that, and the other. Here's the thing. Like I said, when you see people pushing go get a trade, ask them, are they gonna go get a trade? If you see the CEO saying go get a trade, are the CEOs gonna go get a trade? Are they gonna go out there and fix somebody's HVAC? Are they gonna go and get an electrician certificate or whatnot? Are they gonna go do those things? They're probably not. So while they're telling you to go get these things, they're not doing it themselves. Right? They're not doing it themselves. So if they're not doing it themselves, but they're telling you, you should sit back and say, what the hell? He gonna go get a trade. Why? Because he's a billionaire. Right. How did he become a billionaire? Oh, he is the CEO of a tech company. Guess what? Do you think that he's going to send his kids to trade school, man or woman? Probably not. Probably not. They're going to teach them how to manage your black ass. I'm just putting it out here. Like sometimes you all got to use common sense. To me, that is common sense. But maybe I am wrong, and I'm willing to say that I am wrong, admit when I am wrong on this. But I kind of feel like I just got it in my gut that I'm pretty right on this one. But I got a feeling I'm pretty right on this one. Right? So she's going back to school to get her social work degree. She's 60. As my cousins say, she's 60. Listen, I commend her for going back to school, but that ain't it. She do better if she go learn Excel and how to work with databases. I'm just saying. The OnlyFans, really? Let's go.
I will graduate probably like on this day next year. So it's gone really fast. And I had the attitude, I'm going to have to work till I die. So I want to do meaningful work. I've never really had a professional job. That's another video. Didn't even finish my bachelor's degree that I started in 1982 until 2018. So when I was 52. So I am a full-time student. I
So
take
let's back up what she
degree that I
said.
started in 1980
Back
area.
up.
I am in college. I'm getting a graduate degree
Back
in
up.
social work to become a therapist. I'm just finishing my second year. I will graduate probably like on this day next year. So it's gone really fast. And I had the attitude, I'm going to have to work till I die. So I want to do meaningful work. I've never really had a professional job. That's another video. Didn't even finish my bachelor's degree.
Okay, so she's never had a professional job. Sounds like she was probably a stay-at-home mom at some point in this time. Maybe she's divorced or the husband has passed away. Who knows? Whatever. And she is going into social work and graduate next year. Good luck to her. Who knows what the economy is going to be like come next year around this time next year. And I know the mic is throwing you. I was like, why she got to attach to the little thing? Yeah. So again, me personally, I would tell her to probably, if she came to me, I would be like, look, let's get you on technical writing. Let's get you into let's get you into AI prompt engineering. Use that social work degree to do prompt engineering with the social work background. Just anything. I know she wants to be a therapist, but and she's trying to hit 80K. There's a reason. Let's put some numbers out here. The typical woman, I think the typical Black woman lives until 76.1, and maybe just women in general. Um let's see. So it says the average white woman usually lives to around 80. Those figures are slightly by source. The recent data show the life expectancy between 80 and 81. So she's looking for another 20 years of life. Let's say I don't know what her rent is in DFW area where she's at. So she may not be paying over 1,200 a month, if that. So I'm going to look at it as maybe 1,500. So I'm going to look at it as 1,500. She probably has a car that's paid for, or maybe not a car at all, looking for something remote. But I'm just trying to throw out numbers. She's probably around about anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 a month in expenses, give or take. And I could be wrong, but that's give or take. And on top of that, so she's looking probably to put away some money for rainy days. Let's just say she's able to put away $1,000 a month or whatever. She's already committed to not retiring. I don't know what that looks like when she turns 65, 70, 75, more like 75, and being a therapist. I don't know what her health is at that time. Her health, her mental health, her physical body. What does that look like? These are just things that you got to think about what that looks like. All right. So let's go back to it. Let's finish it off. I mean, I got a ton of stuff to go through, but
I started in
I want to highlight
1982
this.
until 2018. So when I was 52. So I am a full-time student. I take 9 hours, which is considered more than full-time as a graduate student. I work as a nanny. like many 20-year-olds. I take care of it's a family of 4 whose mom is a physician, and a family of 4 kids. And the youngest one, who is my main responsibility, has a genetic disorder that she needs a special diet and some special medical monitoring, et cetera. And I've been.
Mom works as a physician. She is a nanny. This concept of having a nanny. Let's talk about that for a quick second. In the Black community, we have this nuance about having a nanny. I'm just gonna put it out here. Most of the white women I know, most of them work and have a nanny, right? They work, the dad works, or the wife stays at home. They have a nanny. In the Black community, the nanny is the grandmother, or the nanny is a relative, a female relative that can sit and watch the kids all day or interact with their children or whatnot. Free labor, if you want to look at it that way. Free labor, if you want to look at it that way. The other part of this that's really glaring to me is when we talk about, and I had this discussion Wednesday night, and I was looking at some clips, and I'll probably bring that clip up because he had some good points in there. We'll talk about it. But anyway, one of the big things that I often notice is when we're talking about the role of the nanny or a woman in the household. What is their education like? What is that person is supposed to do? Cook, clean, whatever, this, that, and the other. All these things matter. The amount of money you make matters. All these things add up. If you have a kid that's autistic, if you have a kid that has special needs, if you have a kid that has a breathing problem, or a kid that has or even the woman gets to have breathing problems or some medical assistance or whatever. You don't think your insurance matter? You don't think your job matters? You don't think all that matters? All that shit matters. I don't know how many times how many of y'all been to the doctor and the doctor said, the first thing say, do you have insurance? And when you say no, I'm just gonna pay out of pocket, they were like, they were like, oh no, that's suspect to me. We get it. They want to run up the medical bills. We get that. But again, having insurance to go to the doctor matters. That's just what it is. This is what it is. Right? So let me look here. What somebody said. Let me take my glasses off. How many sounds like it's time for our generation and not innovation? A nanny or aftercare for one child is $1,800 a month in the DMV area. Yep. So let's go.
Them since she was born, basically. She's a few months from being 3. So that's what I do for work. So I work 30 to 40 hours a week. I'm in school full time. 6 months out of last year and 6 months out of this coming year, I will be doing an unpaid internship. I am very bitter about it. It's not right. It's very privileged, and it nearly kills me. But I will, on top of doing all of that, will also be working unpaid, like 18 to 20 hours a week from mid-May to early December. So time is limited. I live in a little apartment. I'm a nanny and I'm a full-time student. And so yeah, other than all of these wrinkles, who would know that I'm not a 20-year-old? So,
lady,
what can we do to make these years our best ever? I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 or 4 things. And first of all, finances aren't everything, but that's how we measure a lot here in America. And
again, the bullshit. Finances are everything. Bullshit. Bullshit. If finances aren't everything, then why you work? What you going back to school for? Why do you have the apartment? Why are you working? Why are you mad about the unpaid internship? Finances are everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you, but finances are everything. Here we are. Here we are. This is what I mean. I'm just showing you, hey, and it's and let me be frank. If I think her name is Kim, if you come back and you see this and you watch this, that, and the other, holla at me. You know how you holla at me. I just want to guide you on it. You may not want to hear my advice, but there are other ways, right? So let's go. Hold on, let me see what it say. I'm gonna pull this up here. I'm a 47-year-old career trainer, 26 years as a hairstylist. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, multiple surgeries, could not work 75% of my clients. I need to change. And working on certification. Which ones? Which certifications? Don't tell me you're working on the A+. What field? How you positioning yourself? That's important. Take all your skills that you learned from being a hairstylist and write them down. Everything that you've gone through with breast cancer is an experience. Write that down. Because that's going to help shape your resume. That's going to help shape your resume. That's going to help shape how you put yourself out there and what you want to work on. Okay? I hope you're okay with breast cancer. Again, everyone who knows me, I lost my mom this year to breast cancer, actually stage 4, metastasized throughout her whole body. So I understand. If like Dion said, if Tupac don't love you, I do. So I understand. All right, so let's get into it.
Those standards, I am not successful. I don't have a retirement. I don't have a savings. I mean, very small. I drive a 13-year-old car. I don't own a home. I don't own a home and the home's not paid for. I just, that's just where I am. And I think, unfortunately, there are more of us than, it's a little bit embarrassing to talk about, to be 60 and in this position. But there's a lot of reasons that I am. And, I think there are more of us out there than, what we realize. So what we do need to think about, though, is the ways we have been successful. I have 3 adult children, 3 daughters. They're all in their 20s, and I'm very close with all 3 of them. I was a single mom to them. I have been for the last 18 and a half years. So I think the youngest was 6 when I got divorced. The oldest was 11. So most of their lives, I have been their only supportive parent. I provided for them financially. I did get child support. Thank you, Texas Attorney General, wage garnishment. But other than that, I had really no family support. Their dad was not involved. If anything, he was a negative. And I'm very proud of the mom that I was and am to my kids, and how close we are and the relationships that we have. I am also, lay my head down in peace at night. I am kind and caring, and have some close relationships, but that's definitely something I want to work on. My social circle, as my kids got older, got smaller and smaller and smaller. So anyways, I like myself. I am happy with who I am and how much I've healed from kind of a rough childhood and definitely rough marriage. My parents were both alcoholics. I was in bad relationships and then married a man almost exactly like my dad, minus the drinking. I'm 99.99% sure he's a malignant narcissist, and that was a very abusive and difficult marriage and even divorce, co-parenting. There wasn't really any parenting on his part, but anyway, I did not start to heal and become the person that I was meant to be until probably 5 years ago. Then after that, I was just struggling to take care of my kids. So anyway, there are reasons you're in that boat too. And did you have something to do with that? Probably, but is some of it generational? And you,
So write in the chat, because I'm done listening. Write in the chat what you would tell her. Write in the chat what you would tell her. She needs Linux therapy, possibly. But hey, this could be a audience. This could be a member in the audience now. You could be 60. You could have no savings. You could be 60 and divorced. You could be 60 and your husband died and left you nothing. You could be 60 and your husband died, or you could be a significant other, your special friend, and he died, and you were on the obituary, and he left you nothing because he didn't put any beneficiaries on there, so his next of kin would get it, and he also didn't put you on anything, or he left an ex-wife or another girlfriend on there, or what have you. It happens every single day. So no, and same thing for the ladies. You pass on, you didn't take him off your benefit as a beneficiary, or out of the will, or out of the trust, and your special friend that come over to your house and been cutting your grass and hooking up your AC unit, making sure you got Freon in it, and your special friend didn't get left with anything. You too need to go check your beneficiaries, your insurance. And then some of you all don't even have life insurance on yourself. Some of y'all just got the life insurance from your job. You don't have a term policy on yourself. And if you are, because I think the age on here is 25 and up that watch the show. If you're 25 and up and you only got $20,000 worth of life insurance on yourself, do better. Why do you only have $20,000 worth of life insurance on yourself? Don't be like that. That's enough to get me in the ground. That's all I need. That's enough to get me in the ground. Well, what about all the other shit that you got? Your credit cards, the whatevers. What about all of that? Think outside the box. Think outside the box. Don, you said there's nothing I can tell her. She sounds like she knows every damn thing. Yep, $20K. I've seen it. All right. So let's go. This is a good time story. Here. So let's go. It's only 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So let's get into it. I thought this would be a good thing. Let's go.
Trey and Ashley Smith are the only brother-sister duo currently in the NFL. Trey plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, while Ashley works for the league. Ian Lee has the inspiring story of how a passion for football and an unbreakable family bond led them to the pros.
So take this dish and shake it so I get some of the bottom.
When it comes to cooking for the holidays, Trey and Ashley Smith are just like any other siblings.
Give me this.
Mixing a bit of banter with teamwork. But outside the kitchen, the Smiths happen to be a one-of-a-kind pair. They're currently the National Football League's only brother-sister duo. Their journey to the NFL dates all the way back to their childhood.
What are some of your favorite childhood memories growing up in Tennessee?
I think for me, it would be on Saturdays. That was SEC football. And so our mom would get up early in the morning and she would cook everything from like pizza, wings, nachos, like brownies, ice cream. And then we would just watch football all day as a family.
Saturday was a football day then.
1000%.
We knew what the plan was. We're watching some ball. You know what I mean? There's no questions asked.
But where did your passion for football begin?
For me, I think it started at a young age. Like most young men, you want to emulate your father. Everyone was walking around, oh, you're Henry's boy, you're Henry's boy. Hey, your dad was a good football player. For me, that was just a motivating factor, man. I want to be like my dad, and I want to go play SEC football, no matter what it costs.
And he's achieved just that. Playing guard for the Kansas City Chiefs with 2 Super Bowl wins already under his belt at just 26 years old. While Ashley runs the NFL's player engagement program,
Could you take some notes?
supporting athletes in their personal and professional growth off the field. 2 dream jobs fueled by the support of their #1 fan. Their mom, Dorsetta Smith. She passed away from congestive heart failure when Trey was 15 and Ashley was 24.
Tell me about your mom. What kind of woman was she?
The epitome of selflessness, you know, in terms of helping other people in times of need. There's not enough words, there's not enough time for me to relay the type of woman that Dorsetta Smith was.
She left a legacy of faith, of love, and also I call my mom my dream incubator. She was the one where I remember when Trey and I were little, we would crawl in bed and just talk with her about our goals and our dreams. And she would always say that all things are possible with God.
You made a vow at your mother's deathbed that shaped your career.
My mom was in ICU, and I remember just going to her bedside. I gave her 2 promises that I would get my degree and I'd play in the NFL. You know, I wanted her to know that the dream that I had as a little boy that I told her about, I'm going to go through with it. I'm going to go get it done. And
He said, I'm going to get my degree. That's what we know, right? That's what we know.
it was definitely tough, man. It's a tough time.
Smith was the 226th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. But today, he's become one of the league's premier guards, and he gets it done alongside his sister and sidekick, who's scoring big behind the scenes.
What does it mean for the 2 of you to be living this dream side by side?
I think it means everything. I think for us to be in the position that we're in is a testament to all the great parents we had and just self-belief, you know, and confidence in our own abilities and who we are as people.
I agree. I think that is also a hope that Trey and I have, that our lives will inspire generations to come, that whoever sees this will look and say, hey, if the Smith siblings can do it, we can do it too.
For CBS Mornings, Ian Lee, Kansas City.
See, I always give you something to feel good about. Engineering candidates, you are welcome for highlighting that. All right, so
I guess we lost a ticket to provide tech support. We get backlogs sometimes, but no excuses.
This is how trust can protect your family assets, and then we'll hop into different stuff. So here's another feel good story. You guys, I'm gonna let you guys draw your own conclusion on this. You know, I'm all about the feel good stories, but I'm gonna let you all draw your own conclusion on this, and then you can put in the comments what you want, what you feel. But let's go.
End the week with a story about the healing power of gumbo.
When paired with a heaping portion of kindness. Here's Steve Hartman on the road.
At the Shrimp Basket restaurant in Pensacola, Florida, one customer has been a constant. For lunch, he always ordered a cup of gumbo, light on the rice, hold the cracker. And again at dinner, cup of gumbo, light rice, no cracker. It was that every day, twice a day, for 10 years.
Appreciate you.
Chef Danelle Stallworth says you can set your clock by this guy.
Mr. Hicks don't miss no day. We open the doors up. Mr. Hicks here to greet us.
78-year-old Charlie Hicks was omnipresent until last September, when he wasn't. Didn't show up for several days.
I knew then something was wrong.
Fearing the worst, Danelle left work in the middle of his shift and drove to Charlie's apartment. He knocked on the door repeatedly, but no answer.
And right when I was going to turn, I heard a voice just like, "Yo!" And then I opened the door up. He was laying on the ground, and I didn't know what his conditions was. That was the scariest part right there.
We don't know how long Charlie had been lying there, maybe a few days. He was severely dehydrated and had 2 broken ribs. But thanks to Danelle, he would survive.
So he was dehydrated, had broken ribs. Where was the rest of his family at? Had they passed on? Is he in town by himself? Why is nobody call to check on him? Why he didn't have life alert? Just normal things to think about, right? All right. So let's get back into it.
And thanks to the staff at the Shrimp Basket, he would never be alone again.
They started by bringing his gumbo to the hospital. Then they went out and got him a new apartment right next to the restaurant, so the employees could always keep a watchful eye. They got Charlie new appliances, fixed up the place just right, all so that this week, 3 months after the accident,
You're late.
Charlie could pick up with his routine right where he left off. Here we go. He sat back at his favorite table and ordered his favorite dish. Nothing had changed, except their bond.
I'm glad to have you back, though, buddy.
We made a connection. We made a connection.
He's their uncle. He's their grandfather. He's their best friend. He all in one.
Is it nice having him right next door now?
Oh, man, that's the best thing going. That's the best thing going.
Danelle Stallworth, chef at a family restaurant. Emphasis on family.
I'll be over more
Steve Hartman,
often than you like.
on the road in Pensacola, Florida.
Now, I can give so many things about this story. I think I'll keep it nice because it was a pleasant story. Hinge in me that would say otherwise, but I don't know the guy who they went and rescued, his background. But if they're in Pensacola, Florida, you know, I can go down the road. I'm gonna leave it alone because it was a great story. It's not, Tameika's not gonna butcher it up. Not gonna put my own thoughts into it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna be nice. All right. So here is another story. Not a feel good story. Yep, they got him an apartment. You can go with your own thoughts on that, this, that, and other. So NYC, we won't list to all 24 minutes of this, but a New York City teacher with 8.4 made 8.4 million on the side hustle. Hey man, I'm gonna be nice. Jasmine, I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. He was definitely slinging that word up until he had that gumbo. Was my thought process, Eric? That was my thought process, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, let's go.
Entire generation.
It's just such an amazing feeling to put your family and yourself in this kind of position.
Brownsville, Brooklyn, one of the toughest neighborhoods in New York, a place where success doesn't come easy. And right in the middle of it is Taha Al-Asari, a Brooklyn native and public school teacher who's quietly rewriting the script. By day, he's guiding young men towards a better future. And when the bell rings, he's leading by example, building $1 million side hustle with his 3 younger brothers, a chicken wing business that's grown to more than 7 locations in just 3 years. And today, I'm stepping into his world to see how one teacher balances the classroom grind with a dream big enough to change his entire family's future.
Definitely. You know I'm coming to the club, right? 12. How you doing, sir? Good?
What's going on? How are you?
Good.
Guys, this is Taha. Where are we today?
We're at Eagle Academy, Brooklyn. It's an all-boys public school and located in Brownsville.
And how did this school come to be?
So this school was founded by an organization called 100 Black Men. and they created the Eagle Academy Foundation, which targeted the 5 areas.
All right. So how many of y'all ever heard of 100 Black Men? How many of y'all have heard, especially Black men? I mean, that watched the show. Have you contributed? Have you went to one of their functions, so forth and so on? Just curious if you've done anything with them. Also curious if you've ever donated to any scholarship fund or what have you, right? Again, there are organizations that are already out there that are doing things. Join them. Don't try to go create and recreate your own unless it's something unique. And we'll talk about community organization a little bit more on my thoughts, your thoughts, this, that, and other. But again, I just think, there are some things that we can do. All right. All right, cool. Join the local chapter. That's right. Yes. Yes. Right. Very big in Atlanta. I heard about them when I was a kid. So 100 Black Men, I knew about them as a child. But again, growing up in the South, more than likely your parents were civil rights activists, were community driven, community given in those areas. That's just what it was. I'm sure it was like that in other places, but I can't speak on those other places. All right. Yep, hit them up.
In New York City that had the largest incarceration rates amongst Black males. And they decided to drop a school in each and every one of those neighborhoods to shift the pipeline from this neighborhood to jails and instead make it from this neighborhood to colleges. And they have been extremely successful with that. These are like a big thing, these Pooh Shiesty masks. They cover the whole face, they're used for like bad things, but it became like a fashion statement. So there was like that line where like, is he wearing it because he thinks it's cool, or is he wearing it because he had bad intentions? So we really had it was a big problem. We had to like make a poster and ban these things, So it's just like random stuff you deal with in these kind of neighborhoods.
Why rosary beads? Choking or like
no,
strangling?
Because those also like gang relation and stuff because there'll be different colors.
Okay.
So we're not showing like different colors. It's not necessarily the rosary beads. It's like the color of your rosary beads. I'm letting you know what you're missing.
The first bell rings, and it's in the form of a Biggie track blasting through the speakers. Inside Taha's special education room, the lessons hit different too. It's here that the school's mission and Taha's message is clear. Where you start doesn't define where you can go. Taha's side hustle success proves to everyone that he's not just blowing smoke. These kids can read through BS better than most. And to have a teacher who's actually putting his money where his mouth is the greatest form of inspiration.
This is how I'll be at this point. Welcome to the House of Flames. Okay, hold on. Do I get paid? Yeah. Right, how much?
I mean, we'll talk details later.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an entrepreneur.
All right, tell me what you're working on.
I'm working on stock market because I made like 500 yesterday. I've been doing stock market for like a year by now. 10% of my paycheck, I put it to the stock market.
That's awesome, Chance.
We do a few things different. We have finance programs. We have culinary, beat making, like music producing, like just unbelievable extracurricular programs for our kids, and they tailor to their interests. Like we have electives that these kids want to be in.
Taha's classroom is just one piece. To really understand his ambition, you got to meet the people who are helping throw logs on the fire, his fellow teachers. In an environment where it's easy to pull each other down, their support inevitably breeds his confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, here? Yeah. And you learn here?
Yeah.
You trust them?
Tell you about them wings though.
No, I was joking.
When I first came to Eagle, Mr. Me asked me if I was teaching the kids.
No, I ain't no barber, but his hair flaking up. I think it should have been washed beforehand, but that's just me. I'm just not gonna say anything. But I love the inspiration behind what they're doing in the community, and also what it's driving towards in terms of helping the kids get out of the mindset that they can't be no, especially on the special education side, because I think a lot of times a lot of kids get thrown into special education because they say they can't read when it's in actuality, it's not that they can't read. Nobody is taking the time to show them how to read. And a lot of the times, that's just what I thought. That's what I know they have dandruff. Well, everybody got that. Everybody got dry skin. Let's understand that. But again, I don't know. I just always thought that you need to wash the hair, and make sure you get that out. That's just me. I could be, whatever.
Barbering for I own a salon. The kids for barbering about an hour. It just took off me. They loved it. Like, it was very interesting. And he's like, we need a class. So just I kind of fell into it. To tell you the truth.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So basically, it's going over different forms of like a tag versus like a throw up.
Okay.
So the tag usually explains, y'all would know, like the tag explains the artist. The throw up is basically a message usually. So graffiti started as a form of protest art. So you don't have to be good at it. You just have to have a message. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Now, this movie, I don't know I'm pretty sure none of you ever heard of this movie called The Wizard. And it was one of the first video game movies.
And so the class itself, is it technology? Is it what do we
on computer science? Okay, so we code Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We build computers on Thursday, and we do video games on Friday.
No way. So they built this.
Yes.
This is operational, like
yes.
And is this a gaming PC?
It could be.
Essentially powerful.
I would say they could probably play Fortnite on this. I'm sure they would enjoy that very much.
And how did you end up here?
The principal saw what I could do. I built a computer for him, and then he was like, "Hey, can you come show the kids at school how to build a computer?"
Build a computer, get a job. That's incredible. Principal's office, maybe the whole time.
Yeah,
So you're the man behind it all, huh?
No, I'm part of a team.
Tell me the story. How did this come to be?
So we started 17 years ago. I started as a resident principal at Eagle Bronx. Okay. I was part of a leadership program, and they said that getting the kids at high school was too late. Middle school is kind of where it's at. So the concept of a 6 to 12 Eagle school was birthed from there. And we were looked at as a reform school. They see big black dude with a mean face. We're gonna send them all the guys who we can't deal with.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the beginning of our work. Okay. Right. And 17 years later, that 75 kids turned to 700 next year with over 800 alums. Our guys are playing Division I basketball, but we also got guys at UPenn on full rides for academics. And we're at a point now, we don't want to even be called a school anymore.
Yeah.
We want to be called an institution, because institutions stand the test of time. Like, they weather storms. It doesn't matter who's in office, the institution is going to remain.
Yeah.
And so we're really putting a lot of our time and efforts now into making sure what we're doing now is sustainable. We don't want to be pigeonholed to being just one thing. We want to be everything for all young men.
All right, so here's what my thought process is on this. The ability to compete. As much as we don't want to talk about it, as much as we want to be kumbaya, we want to be we all want to be on the same playing field. We want this, that, and other. You're going to always be competing. But knowing how to compete is one thing. And I think we take for granted oftentimes on how to compete. And oftentimes we don't understand that we are competing. Every time you put in that resume, every time you step out the house, you are competing. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Even on your way to work, you compete. You know why? Because there's always an asshole on the road that want to try to cut you off and get in front of you. You're always competing. It's just what it is, right? The other piece to this is showing how we can be a community that thrives. I don't think we talk enough about what it means to thrive. We always, in every conversations that I have seen online, it is always about how we make it. And I don't understand why that is a concept, right? Why about just making it? What is the new, is it 140,000 now for a family of 4? But it's always been over 100,000 forever. It's just it just has manifested now. But again, that's Tameika thoughts. I've always thought you needed $100,000 to make it in most of the cities in terms of The Southeast is 50% where 56% where most Black people live. Inclusive of those Southeast cities are cities that are high cost. I'm not talking about living in Montgomery, Alabama. I am talking about living in Atlanta or Miami or Tampa or Jacksonville or Virginia, still considered part of the Southeast, the DMV area, and so forth and so on. Houston, Southwest, but again, we have to get out of the mindset of I'm just here to make ends meet. Make ends meet gets you the lady at 60. Right? When do we thrive? When is it okay to say it's okay to thrive? And why? This is some random thoughts here. And why is it a problem to want to thrive? And why is it a problem when someone says on any dating show they want a person over making 100,000 or 150,000? Why do we? It's like we get constipated. Like it's like the brain shuts down and we get constipated and fists clench up and we do that because of that conversation. I have issues with that because why can't we make the 100,000? Why can't we make the 150,000? Why can't that be the goal? Why can't that be the standard? Why can't we go past that? Why is it always we gotta be in this box and live in this box? And in this box that we live in, if you thrive in that box, you're bougie. If you thrive in that box, you're not Black enough. If you thrive in that box, you are considered an uppity Negro. If you thrive in that box, then you are considered someone who doesn't understand. You're out of scope. You don't understand the day to day. Why is it this box here always a containment unit and it's okay? I have issues with that. And why do we make that our norm? Is what I want to know. Why is that the norm? Why is it this containment box our norm? And if you, Black Negro, step out of that norm, you are part of the boule, you're bougie, you're part of the Jack and Jill, you're what we consider the uppity Negro, and how dare you want to even have a conversation about it or be a part of it, because now you're white. Now you're close to whiteness. Now you act like you're white, and now you act like you want to be with the others. Why is that a thing? Why is that a conversation? And I don't understand it. I'm not necessarily looking to understand it. I just want to know, why is that a box? Why do we continue to perpetuate that, especially for those that are coming up who are in their 18 to 25? What box are they supposed to be in? Are they not supposed to thrive? When are you supposed to thrive? When are you supposed to be your best? What does that look like? I just want to know, why is it that we can't say that we make 300,000, our children are making 100, we own the dentist's office, we own the doctor's office, we created a credit union, we own the land down the street, we own that subdivision, we created that subdivision, we created that school, we're putting our children through there, we are competing in our neighborhood with other neighborhoods because what we want to own more. We are worth it. When do we become worth it? When is your life worth it? When is your life? When do you thrive? These are questions that I ask constantly. And anyone who knows me, I talk about this religiously because it is a problem that I see perpetuated more often than most. It is never there's never a conversation of thriving that is perpetuated. Is a conversation of being in a box. And why? What is in this box? What do I get in this box? Am I gonna get is it a sense of comfort? is being beat down the level of comfort that we thrive for. If I beat you down, that's where you want to be, because that's what you're used to. Why is that? What do you I see your comments, I'm gonna read them. What do you fear the most? Do you fear being broke? Do you fear being successful? Or do you fear that your community will not accept you? And why are you looking for their acceptance? Who pays your bill? When you flush your toilet, when you click on your lights, when you turn your sprinklers on, when your HOAs due, who's paying that bill? Because I can tell you the Black community is not paying your bills. I'm just curious. I'll read your comments. I gotta go over here because the comments are not all the comments are over there. Let me look. And forgive me my mad rant, but it's just I be trying to understand it. You say too many of our people embrace the victim mentality. Some people are victims, and some people have been led astray. The rebuttal to that is some people never get out of that. I don't want to call it the victim mentality. Some people never get out of their loss. So they never heal. They never go do the proper things they need to do to heal themselves or seek help for that. So I think that's a thin line. You say the screen is minimized. You can't see the full video you watching from the TV. I don't know. I expanded the screen, but right now I'm just talking. But we'll pick it back up. So I'll look at that. Orlando, I appreciate you for watching. It's because people don't want to put in the effort. I think that's part of it. I also think the other part is there's several parts. I think people don't know how to put in the effort. And I think energy is misdirected towards the wrong things. And on top of that, I think some of the knowledge is not shared. Not to say that people are blocking. I think some things people don't know. So I think there's a couple of things there. That's just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. So, Malette, you say many of us don't believe those salaries are possible for us. And I would say yes, but I would say yes because we have not been pushed to the right set of skill sets that are needed for those jobs. So it's a couple of things on that one. But yes, many of us don't believe those salaries. It just is what it is. I've shown on this YouTube channel job offers, jobs that I've turned down, check stubs, the whole nine. I have shown that many of times here. But I can log in to stuff and people will be like, well, that's something she made up or it's fake, but it is what it is. All right. Here, the fear of the unknown. When you look beyond that box, we understand every corner of that box, the smell, the taste, and the feel of that box. But here's a question. If we understand all of that about that box, aren't you tired of being in that box? Don't you want to see a new box? What they doing over there? What's going down in the other box? Don't you want to learn a new box? Just curious. Just curious. We don't know thriving without limits. We are used to scraps. We don't know thriving without limits. We are used to scraps. So you're used to abuse. So if I say for good nothing, blah blah blah, Negro, you ain't gonna never be blah blah blah, you're willing to accept it? Okay. If I say that I know you're never going to be anything, you're never going to make over 50,000, you're never going to make over 70,000, accept it for what it is and keep it moving. Are you okay with that? Right? You're okay with that? Right? Just putting it out there. You said, I think the problem for everyone is the person in the mirror. It could be. It could be the person in the mirror. I think you always start with self first. Yes. But I also think there are things in play in society that also prevent things. But that's just me. All right, that's just me. Fear being broke, yes. What you say? As a whole, we have been victimized. Wealth is built by generations stacking. Yes. However, this part of the conversation is more like, why do we fear trying to be wealthy or fear trying to get out of the box? And I often see people fear trying to get out of the box. D said there is another video out there, 4 screen, click episode 195 with 60 plus viewers. Here I'm showing 86 viewers. Here on YouTube I show 67. I don't know, we got to work that out. So, okay, you say resources need to be available without gatekeeping. I think the resources are available without gatekeeping. I think people don't know what the resources are and have not been guided to the proper resources. I think there's a couple of things at play. Gatekeeping does happen, though. You say, where do we get skills without being scammed by boot camps? They charge 10,000 plus. The question is, who's doing the charging and what are they teaching? And have you taken the time to look up on the free resources that are out there to get there? Most people, and this is just a rule of thumb, pay for the boot camps because somebody has already gone through it, and they can help guide them to where they need to be. However, the issue that I see with just boot camps and paid certifications and anything in general is, to me, if you're not doing it with a group of people together, it doesn't fare well. You need to do it in a group setting in order for it to be successful. To me, there are outliers where people can go study on their own and make it happen, but I think we need to have a group session on that. The bag is definitely out there. Yep. Stop being scared and ask for that big money. And again, big money can be described in so many ways. Big money can be 100,000 for one and 600,000 for someone else. The question is, where on this line, this salary line or earning line, do you want to be on? And why don't you see yourself making 100,000 or 150,000? What is fearful about that? Is it taxes? Is it because you don't know what to do with the money, or you don't know what is the fear? Why can't we have households where both black, and let me break it down, where both black men and black women, including your children who have graduated from college, all make at least 100,000. Just work with me on this one here. Just go with this logic. What if we had households where the mother and the father are making, I'm just gonna put a nice number out there, 150 apiece, and the child graduates from college, and the child goes on and gets a jobs and accepts the jobs, and they get a job paying them 70,000 for the girl and maybe 80,000 for the son. Why can't we all live in the same household? Why can't we all put our money towards something? Why can't that be a thing? I'm just asking. One said it's a belief system that has been passed down consistently and consciously and subconsciously. It's like a religion. You inherit those beliefs by default. Yes and no. You do inherit those beliefs by default, but it only takes you have to work towards being redirecting that, right? I always give the story. When I was working, the guy that was sitting across from me, I was making 55, and he was like, "Oh, we were doing the same job." He's like, "Next on my next raise," he's like, "I'll be at 90,000." I said, "You going from 55 to 90?" I was like, "What are you making now?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm making 85." And I was like, "Oh hell no, gotta get my money." Oh no, we ain't doing that, right? I'll hop down here to the last one. My grandma was a slave, so it's been about 2 generations removed from my family. I'm one of the first generation. Yep. Exposure helped. My mom made. I made 100,000 before my mom made 100,000. She worked, but I just knew from watching my mom and my aunt work, like I don't want to do the jobs that they did, because I don't that seems like it's a lot of stress. Even though working in tech is a lot of stress, probably more stressful than what they get, maybe could be, probably maybe equal. But again, no. But yes, these are my thoughts on this. But let's finish this off midway point, and then I got other stuff to talk about. Let's go.
Right.
Come today. Come to
All right. You haven't seen your actual grades yet? I know, but you're doing really well, bro. Your average is really good. You should want to take that home. You should want to show your parents that, bro.
Back in class, Taha works through the last periods of this half-day Friday. Grade reports are going out, assignments are due, and as a complete side note, as someone who hasn't been in the classroom in a long time, I was curious about AI.
So would you say the majority of your peers, like, is everybody using it? Is like
every single person in Geo I know is using AI. When they're not in class, they're using it to do their homework. I kid you not.
Actually, for math, I was using AI to like study, and it gave me the steps and everything. Then I understood it more on the AI than like what she explained it.
That's what I mean. Like when I started, like I obviously after I caught a few kids using the app, I downloaded it.
You want to know the source?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is a good breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, like
you guys ever use Cliff Notes? That's what I was expecting.
Time out real quick. Taha said he needs the minute to speak to one of the students one-on-one, so we're going to give him some privacy to do that. And I figured this is the perfect opportunity while he's off doing that to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this week's episode, and that is my friends over at Bombas Socks, the world's comfiest socks for days like this when we're constantly on the go, and I need some reliable, durable, and comfortable socks. Just get 20% off their first purchase. Make these videos happen. That said, and also, now this is where most teachers would be done for the day, and rightfully so. To give the effort and energy they do on a daily basis, often with very little recognition or praise, is incredible. I definitely couldn't do it, but Taha shifts into another gear. Today marks the grand opening of his 7th location, and we're racing over to grab a few last-minute supplies before the doors open.
What do we need? You got a list?
Pickles, container for flour, flour scoopers, some extra metal trays, and a sauce funnel. Not the kind of funnels we use that for.
This place is like a non-polished Costco on steroids. It's got everything in massive quantity, and it's just restaurant owners and bodega shop entrepreneurs and side hustlers.
You know, we started with one store, and then it became 2 stores quickly, and then within a year it was 5. You know, so I didn't even think about revisiting the prices because it was happening so fast. So that's definitely a big part of my job now that we have multiple locations, making sure we're getting the best prices.
All right, we got the good. We're all set. Let's do it. Let's go home. As we drive over, here's what I haven't mentioned yet. Taha's turning this after-school side hustle into a nationwide empire with help from his 3 younger brothers, self-funded with no experience by following the #1 opportunity in business, filling a void in the marketplace through belief, grit, and family loyalty. So you know today, y'all.
Welcome to the side hustle. This is store number 7.
From school to the location.
This is life, man.
This is the 7th location.
Yes, sir.
Grand opening today.
Grand opening. We're here. Yeah, this is the number 2 in Brooklyn.
I am trying to figure out what Mama is doing out there in the front of it. Is she the... I just trying to figure out what she's doing.
Knew we were coming, so he's like, why don't I just open a new store?
That's the kind of guy I am. You know,
That's a warm welcome. Let's go see this operation.
Keeping it simple is what allowed us to expand so much. You don't have that much equipment. Refrigeration, fryers, and a grill is the main thing. We don't freeze any of our meat. Everything is fresh. So that has allowed us to like rapidly grow. Luckily, like my brothers really hold it down for me, so I'm able to manage from the outside while they are like boots on the ground. We got a great system here.
What does this mean to you guys?
It means everything, honestly. To work with your brothers, to build the business together.
So this is what I want to highlight right here. So, okay, so he's working with his brothers. Now, how does he or someone in 100 Black Men take this same model and duplicate it for the kids that are in that school? How do you do that? How do you take that model and build something out where the kids can follow along with that as well? All right, just a thought there.
It's something you dream for, honestly. Yeah, 100%, man. When you have 4 brothers that get along and communication together, it's a great feeling.
We grew up in the business too, so my dad, he owned businesses and stuff, so like to keep it going, the family.
So my dad owned businesses, so it's something that they've seen before, so they have some idea.
Oh, yeah, everything.
Because it's big, because Dad passed recently, right? And it was from that time that House of Wings came to fruition, right? Like from that.
It served as like a ignition for us. Like it ignited us to really turn it up and realize that we need to do more for our family. Also, his blessings.
So pause right there. So that's all the brothers together. There's the dad. All right. So, what are you gonna do in your family to have a generational set of skills, businesses, so forth and so on? What does that look like? Yeah. What blueprint are you gonna leave behind? What does that look like? Just throwing it out there.
Like helped us and guides us through it. Like, you know, we couldn't have done this still without him.
This is Big Brother. Like, does that, you feel that weight on your shoulders?
I mean, you know, like I guess I do, but like, you know, now as we grow, it's like, it's such a group.
These two standing side by side look like they could be twins.
At first I felt like it was all on me and I needed to make this happen. But as little by little, I realized like how important it is to work together, and these guys make it a lot easier for me.
All right, so you're teaching at school and you realize you just want to get a wing spot.
Our neighborhood doesn't have a spot to get wings unless you go to a bar, and there's a lot of people that did not want to go to a bar, especially us catering to the halal scene.
So this is 100% halal. What does that mean?
So halal is just pretty much the way the animal is raised and butchered. That's what it comes down to, and it's a humane life, no antibiotics, the most painless way to kill an animal, which is to slice their neck and say a prayer prior to it. That's really what makes it halal.
So with boneless wings?
Boneless and bone-in. I know being a wing spot, people might frown upon boneless wings, but our boneless wings are extremely popular here. We literally do it from scratch. We get the tenders fresh, we cut them up, we marinate them, we bread them, we fry them all in-house. Like, it's really like an amazing product, and it's very popular here. It's giving the bone-in wings a run for their money for sure.
So obviously the principal business is wings. You also do burgers,
Texas toast sandwiches. Like, I try to curate a menu where you could come here a few times a week and feel like it's a different spot.
All right, let's dive in. Gosh, just maybe a full order of everything.
All right, you guys can go watch the rest of that, so you can get a feel of it. I thought it was a great video. Just wanted to give y'all that insight, right? All right, let's move on. The AI from the McKinsey State. You got about 30 minutes left, so I gotta run through all my AI stuff real quickly. All right, let's go.
Recently released their annual State of AI report, and the findings are remarkable. This video breaks down the top 10 insights from their 2025 survey, revealing how AI adoption has transformed and what separates the leaders from everyone else. McKinsey has tracked AI adoption since 2017, making this one of the longest-running enterprise AI studies. This year, nearly 2,000 executives across more than 100 countries and 14 industries shared their AI journey. Let's dive into what they found. The headline number: 88% of organizations now use AI in at least one business function. That's up from just 20% in 2017. AI has officially crossed from experimental technology to business standard. But here's the reality check. While adoption is high, most organizations are still experimenting. Only 38% have begun scaling AI across their operations. The majority remain stuck in early testing or piloting phases. Generative AI changed everything. Adoption exploded from 33% in 2023 to 79% today. That's nearly a 140% increase in just 2 years. No technology has scaled this fast. Companies aren't just dabbling anymore. The percentage using AI in 3 or more business functions has tripled since 2021, reaching 50% this year. AI is spreading horizontally across organizations. Size matters for AI scaling. 49% of companies with over $5 billion in revenue are scaling AI, compared to just 30% of smaller firms. Larger companies.
So let's stop right there. So you want to be in the AI gang, right? From this report. Now they only did 2,000 companies, and you can go read this report to see what those companies were, right? So again, if the company is around 100 million, they're looking at 30% within that company that's doing AI. From 100 million to 500 million is 27%. If you want to be in the game, you need to be looking at companies at 5 billion or more, right? So I'm just pointing out to you, when you guys are saying you're going to go learn AI, where are you going to use it at? Where are you actually getting a chance to use it at? You learn it, but where do you utilize those skills at? It's one thing to go get a cert. It's another thing to go get these certifications. It's another thing to go get these skill sets. But if you can't use them, what's the point? So you got to be in the mindset of what is your organization doing, how you can add value to that, and then what all can you actually do within that, or do you need to leave? Right? Do you need to leave?
Have the budget, talent, and infrastructure advantages. What's AI actually delivering? Innovation leads at 64%, followed by employee and customer satisfaction. Interestingly, cost reduction and profitability gains are harder to achieve, with only about 37% reporting improvements. Here's what separates winners from the rest. High performers are 3.6 times more likely to pursue transformative change with AI, not just incremental improvements. They're thinking bigger. While everyone focuses on efficiency, high performers add growth and innovation to their AI objectives. 82% target growth.
Are you a high performer? Is the company that you're working working with a high performer.
compared to just 50% of others. That's a 32-point gap. The secret weapon? Workflow redesign. High performers are 2.8 times more likely to fundamentally redesign their processes for AI, not just bolt it onto existing workflows. Transformation beats automation. The investment gap is striking. 35% of high performers spend over 20% of their digital budget on AI. For everyone else, just 7%. That's a 5x difference in commitment. What about jobs? Surprisingly, 43% expect little to no change in headcount. 32% anticipate decreases, while 14% expect growth. The workforce disruption may be slower than predicted. The message is clear. AI adoption is now mainstream at 88%. Gen AI has tripled in 2 years. But the gap between leaders and laggards is widening. High performers invest more, aim higher, and redesign how they work. The question isn't whether to adopt AI. It's whether you're ready to transform.
Nope. All right. Let's get it. U.S. Space Force quietly awards $9 million to the Golden Dome contracts to top defense firm. Know the top contenders. This came out 2 weeks ago. Let's get it. Let's see where you're at with this on Space Force.
Force has discreetly granted roughly half a dozen small Golden Dome contracts to develop competing missile defense prototypes, initiating a competition for potential future contracts valued at tens of billions of dollars, according to 2 informed sources. The contracts were awarded to multiple companies, including Northrop Grumman, NOC.N, True Anomaly, Lockheed Martin, and Anduril, the sources reported. The contracts, all under $9 million, have been confirmed by a Space Force spokesperson, but have not been publicly announced. The contracts mark a significant step forward in the Pentagon's efforts to track and destroy enemy missiles, and include prototypes of space-based interceptors and related systems. A July Pentagon presentation seen by Reuters suggested awards for interceptor contracts would be about $120,000 each. The initial awardees will vie for final production contracts worth potentially tens of billions, funding prototypes for space-based missile interceptors and the fire control systems to coordinate the signals from satellites and help interceptors launch and find their targets. Sources say the Space Force granted $10 million contracts to Northrop Grumman and Anduril, as noted in a July Pentagon presentation. To encourage rapid development, the interceptor competitions include prize pools, with the largest totaling $340 million. Companies that successfully complete an on-orbit test would share this pool, with first place receiving $125 million and fifth place $40 million. Let's take a look at the...
Now, which part of the game are you in? Are you in the game where we're actually taking the ability to partner up and go after contracts? You trying to do it by yourself? You want to be a consultant? What skill sets do you have? These are things that we got to think about. Remember, you guys want to, you're either in the box or you're not. If you want to stay in the box, that's cool. Remember that box that you're in, you guys complain about $100,000. So if you want to stay in the box that's $100,000 and below, it's really more like $70,000. You're not even at 100. If you want to stay in the $70,000 box, that's cool. I'm not knocking you. But don't complain about the cost of chicken. Don't complain about the cost of eggs. Don't complain about how people are bougie. Don't complain about the boule. Don't complain. But you can stay in the box. If the box is your friend, it smells good, tastes good, stay there. But you don't have to. You don't have to.
Conference where Hegseth and Trump unveiled their vision for the Golden Dome project.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here in the Oval Office, one of the great places of the world, as we make a historic announcement about the Golden Dome Missile Defense Shield. That's something we want, and Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but they didn't have the technology. But it's something we're going to have. We're going to have it at the highest level. I want to thank Secretary Hegseth, who's been fantastic, and Secretary Rubio and Space Force Vice Chief
Why his hands are different color than his face?
of Space Operations, General Mike Gutlein. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Kramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs and it was very successful. And now
Yeah, he's gonna be talking for the next. It looks like the rest of the video. So let's talk about this Golden Dome real quick, so you guys can understand. All right, Golden Dome, right here. This is coming from Space News right here. You guys can go check them out. But again, covering pretty much, he's like he said Canada want to be a part of, but you can see it expands into Mexico as well too, right? It's just a natural thing, right? See the Golden Dome, it could survive even if the Republicans lose the House or the Senate in 2026. How if the Space Force loves a working space-based interceptor constellation of any sort by 2028, the Republicans could lock the program in no matter who wins the House in 2029. None of this, however, would be easy. The project could easily run over budget and behind schedule. Therefore, I recommend hedging with a narrative that could garner bipartisan support, something that has not yet been attempted. So far, the president has portrayed extending the Golden Dome's protection as a transactional proposition. He's demanded Canada to pay $71 billion to participate. Other friends and allies of the United States could also be customers who will buy access to the Golden Dome services and ground-based systems. Keyword here, ground-based systems. So those that have Linux skills, you should be looking up ground-based systems. And I should say Linux ground-based systems, and then Golden Dome. And then let's put jobs behind that, because those are the ones that you want to look for. So again, we already know who the key players are here: Lockheed Martin, GD, Peraton, Elite, Anduril, so forth, right? Ground system engineers, Linux administrator engineers, satellite integration engineer, right? Here off the rip, system engineer, General Dynamics, systems architect, Golden Dome, right here, that came out in 2025. Senior software systems engineer, satellite ground systems engineer, all Linux based. These are all Linux. You are not going to have ground based systems that are Windows based. They're all going to be Linux based, right? So you ask where the jobs are at, what the future is like. Here it is. Go there. Go there. You know the companies. All right. Ground systems engineer, space communication with NASA. This is at Paraton. And the list goes on. All right. The list goes on. But again, I give you the breadcrumbs, I give you the people, you have to go apply. You have to have the skill set. You have to do the talking, the interviewing, the preparation, all the other stuff. I'm just getting you prepped to get there, but now you gotta fulfill the need. Go study, get your RHCSA. Go understand your RHCE. Understand AI. Combine that. Learn Linux with AI. Learn how to do prompts. Learn those things. Learn how to put that all together. You don't know how to do embedded Linux or digital signal processing. There are classes out there for it. And those classes, some of those classes are free. Go there. Be fruitful. Be and multiply. Right. All right, so that was that one. And this one here, Golden Dome. All right, let's go. This is not Golden Dome.
Analogy we always used was we wanted to build Shopify for events.
Hold
The
on,
analogy is
let me start over from
in
the
the beginning.
So we talk about who this is before I introduce this person to you. Inside the $40 million backed Gen Z startup disrupting the ticketing industry. Oh, Gen Z.
Analogy we always used was we wanted to build Shopify for events. The analogy has really expanded from Shopify to TikTok.
Avante Price, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm very excited to chat with you. So you are building the modern version of Eventbrite. Tell me about what Posh is doing today and how you got the idea for it.
Yeah, what Posh is doing today is a lot different than what we started out doing. Back in 2019, my co-founder Eli and I were at NYU, and we were hosting events for our friends. He was a photographer, I was a DJ, and originally we were working for other event brands, but the events that they were putting on for college kids just like weren't really meeting the mark, right? They were at like these like rundown bars on the Lower East Side and things like that. And so Eli and I actually became friends through working a lot of these similar events together, and started Posh, not even as a software company, but as an event company, which is very ironic, right? Because that's who uses us today. But Posh at the onset was just an IRL events company for NYU and Columbia kids to have a Posh upscale experience. And through that experience, we got a lot of different experience with Eventbrite or these other
They wanted to have a Posh upscale experience. We were. Is this the Mata and the quarter vest, or what is it called? What are you guys calling it? The quarter zips, quarter vest, quarter zips. Is that what y'all? Is that what it is? Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Posh social experiences VIP. So let me pull this over here. We'll finish this video. Hold on. We're gonna finish this video, but let me pull it up. I want to give you his website. Here it is right here. Events. The Lower East Side. You don't always have to be in the slums, okay? You don't always have to be in the slums, okay? You guys can have your ways. You don't always have to be in the box. You don't always have to be in the box. You too can go to a play. You too can have, and again, I don't understand why can't we have the finer things in life? Why? Must you just have sirloin? Why can't you have Wagyu? Wagyu is for you. Why can't you have Wagyu? Why do you always have to slum with the people? Why do you have to be over there? All right, let's go.
that existed at the time, right? A lot of the modern products that exist today even weren't around in 2019. And so we felt very, very confined to what existed. There was not a lot of tools to create our own brand and messaging through these products, right? It was very branded to the platform. There were not a lot of marketing tools. There were not a lot of ways to access new audiences or re-engage our current audience. And so Eli actually originally just built a software product for our own event brand. And we were just using this tool as an internal product for our own events. We used it for 2 events, and then the pandemic happened. And so we had this awesome product on our hands that actually helped us like double the size of our events from like 100 or 200 students to like 300-400 every time, even across those 2 events. And then the COVID pandemic, right, kind of ruined our events business, but made us realize that like we had something really powerful in our hands. And also that now more than ever, right, as we all know, in these kind of economic downturns, people are more open to using new products, right, than ever before. So we spent the pandemic just talking to users, right, talking to other event organizer friends, talking to everyone in the industry, talking to ticket buyers, consumers, the people that were coming to these events, right, and understanding like what would a re-envisioned product look like. But in the beginning, the analogy we always used was we wanted to build Shopify for events, right? So we wanted to build like an end-to-end solution for event organizers to custom brand their page, to send out marketing messages, and for their customers to be able to see who else was going. Kind of the 3 early value props. As we've expanded, right now we're at about 6 million users. We have about 50,000 organizers that have signed up. The analogy has really expanded from Shopify to TikTok. And a lot of that comes from the consumer-facing approach that we're taking nowadays around aggregating all this supply and still empowering these organizers with end-to-end business solutions, but also then distributing that supply, right, in an algorithmic way to consumers, right? So depending on your tastes, you'll see a very different feed and algorithm than me or someone else, right? Maybe we have aligned tastes, right? But the idea is, why does Eventbrite suck for consumers, right? Because you go on and you see a pottery class next to a yoga event, next to a rave, right? And no person under the sun usually has like all 3 of those interests or whatever other interests, right? Might all be conglomerated on the same page, right? For us, you open the Posh app and you see this 1-by-1 feed similar to TikTok of personally curated recommendations based on your past event attendance, where people in your contacts are going, and all these other social and demographic based profile creators. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. How do you monetize that?
Yeah, it's a great question. We add a 10% fee on top of the ticket price the organizer determines. And what's awesome about that is that we're super aligned with the organizers, right? They don't pay a dime to use our tools. But if you charge $100 for Zoya's birthday, then people can pay $110 to go, right? What's also awesome is that we also have this entire free product where 2/3 of our events are actually free, right? We don't make any money on them. And so similar to like a paperless post or a party fool, you can do the exact same thing on Posh. Why that's helpful for us is because we obviously get more users to come in, right? And we get to retain our users, but also because a lot of these paid organizations also host free events just to build up their CRM on Posh and build up their brand. And then they can use the Posh CRM to text blast those free customers for their paid events. And so we have a lot of people who've come on hosting free events and then take the next level, right? And use our tools to actually monetize and start building a business.
Does that extend to like individuals too? Like say I was hosting some sort of event for my friends and family, whatever it is, and I decide for some reason to charge them, you can still make money off of that.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the thesis, you know, I think bringing through that TikTok analogy, obviously on the consumer side, it makes a lot of sense, right? Around giving these curated recommendations, but it also follows through on the creator side where we want to create new event businesses, right? Similar to what Airbnb did for stays and kind of sharing a bed in your home, right? And then eventually people bought homes just to Airbnb out, right? That was not really a thing before Airbnb. We want to do this exact same thing, but for the events economy, right? Where we want to basically enable you to first host Zoya's birthday party, and it might be a free RSVP event, 20, 30 people, whatever it is. Then you get this understanding through the context of the platform, as well as what just happened, and you were able to bring these people together that maybe you know about something, or you're able to congregate a certain demographic of people together. And because you have that special innate skill, right, you're able to actually monetize that through the Posh platform like you couldn't before. And so all the tools we build for organizers are centered around that idea of like, you don't have to know what you're doing when you first come into contact with the platform, but we want to give you both the context, the resources, the software tools, et cetera, to like build a business that would not have been possible before.
As not an event organizer, but just as, an individual, what would make me choose Posh to host a party over something like Partyful?
Yeah, if you're not trying to monetize, right, then I actually would suggest Posh only if you're trying to build a real business,
Okay.
right? And it doesn't have to be a monetized business, right? But say you're Nike and you want to host a Fashion Week pop-up, you would probably want to use Posh because we have a more customizable interface. We have more robust marketing tools integrated, so you can text blast an unlimited set of past consumers, right? And even sort them by different identifiers. So maybe their demographic, like their age or their gender or what they responded to on a certain form field. You can then filter them and then send out targeted SMS campaigns afterwards, right? Which is really, really helpful for these brands, right? If you're trying to host a 30-person or less event, that's not really that professional and doesn't need to contribute to something larger, to a larger brand or something, then that's where Partyful would make more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've seen you working, on Posh. I've seen concerts, I've seen festivals, I've seen business conferences. So it's kind of just everything's on there. Tell me, if I come to you as a, event organizer, say I'm hosting a business conference, what's the process? How are we working together? Am I just going on the app and like building out my event and that's it? All good from there? Or is there a human aspect to it?
Definitely. That's actually a really, really core pillar of a lot of our success, in my opinion, is that human to human connection. And obviously that's what we're all about, but we have to follow that through in how we actually operate, right? So every single person you could sign up today, you will get contacted by someone from our organizer success team, right? The same day that you signed up, right? And they'll reach out, hey, Zoya, I just want to make sure that you're all good. If you have any questions, here's my email. You'll even get a phone number. If you text that phone number, it will go to a blue iMessage, right? It will not be green unless you have obviously an Android. But like the point of that is like you're texting a real person, right? It's not even like a programmatic text that you're sending out. You're sending it to a real person that's in our office in Soho who is actually going to respond, right, within minutes, maybe a couple hours at the most, right? And by following that through, we've also been able to create really, really tight relationships with our organizers where they can give us product feedback and we can iterate and create those features really quickly. If there's a bug that comes up, we're able to solve it before most people figure out that it even exists, right, et cetera. But also we're able to help provide off-platform advice too. So this organizer success team really, like, I'd say maybe 10 to 20% of their role is helping with like, how do I use the product? How do I set up my event page? The other 70 or 80% is really about like, hey, I want to expand from New York. I've done all my events in New York. I want to go to LA, right? Do you have another organizer in your book of business that is in LA that you could connect me with to collaborate, right? Or is there a venue you can help me find? Or is there a sponsor, right? We even have someone on our team who's strictly, her entire role is just to connect organizers with sponsors for their events. And so really, the classic saying of like, do things that don't scale is something that we really hold true at Posh by just trying to create these personal relationships with the organizers and help them with things way beyond the software product and be more like a business concierge service to, again, help them build these businesses that would not be possible otherwise.
So what you see out here again, and I've had this thought for quite some time on this, is a lived experience. Everybody wants to have an exclusive experience. This is not necessarily a new concept for having a curated experience and a curated way to give you what's happening in your area or outside of the areas where you can curate your own experiences. And this is not a new phenomenon. It is also being done. I think someone's talking about it. It's actually happening and you see a lot now with micro training. I don't know if you've been watching with Red Hat on the Road. AWS did it a while back where people can't make it to Vegas for a reInvent because it's so massive for so many people. They had to break that up and do AWS events around the world and so forth and so on. And so you'll see as we continue that people want a curated event where they feel like they can get something out of it, not where we got these big events where 100,000 people for a re:Invent show up, and the lines are around the world to get in. You can't go to the whole thing. You only got to be in one hotel and go to events in that hotel. But people want to feel like I spent my money, I got something out of it, I can use it now. And when I'm in my social setting, I'm meeting people of like-minded thoughts and want to go on like-minded adventures. And really what we're saying is I want the application to pick my dates for me, right? I want my application to pick out people that are already like-minded, like I am, that are going to be at this event, and I don't have to guess whether or not this person likes this or not. I don't want to have to deal with that. It's already there. So if you're at this event, I'm more than likely to say that you like the things that are happening in this space, and you are of like mind. Not saying you exactly think like how I think, but you have you're willing to share some experiences, or you've seen some things, and you're already there. I don't want to have to pick through what your thought process is. I can kind of figure that out. Versus before, it's we meet, we may or may not have something in common, and then we go from there, which kind of brings me into my other stuff. I have so many other things to talk about, but I wanted to get petty today, and I think I got a little time to get petty. Oh, I'm over my mark, but let me get my petty in, because I know I'm over my mark. So here's my petty tea moment here. Let's go here, and then we're gonna. I had some other ones, but this will do. This will do. All right, petty tea moment. All right, you listen up, and we'll talk.
My question is,
episode
if
of
this
Candid
woman,
Convos.
if she is truly a woman of value, wouldn't she be able to do the same thing, regardless of a man? No, can't be life. Like, like this don't make sense. Like, so why do you think that this guy is even trying to get to know you, to marry you, and all this? Like, do you just think you're just supposed to be there? Like, what are you? Yeah, this just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, but it's just like everybody at some point has seen some type of relationship between some man and woman. It may not be direct. It may not be maybe it wasn't the happiest situation for you with your parents or whatever, but you done seen a grandma, an auntie, a neighbor. You done seen something. Yeah, but you have to know at this age, I'm saying, because everybody is over 20 years old at this point. So you got to know at this point that this man is contributing something to the situation, this woman is contributing something to the situation, and that's how they make it work. So I'm not sure how we still getting on these shows, getting offended because somebody is asking somebody, what's your role? Because clearly he has some type of template for what his role is. Yep, that's why he's asking you what's yours. He wanted to see what your mind is and how you thinking about it.
So what is your role? All right. So going back to the pie situation, right? Meeting people of like mind, meeting people of like what that would like to share some similar experience, so forth and so on. Here's where we are at in our conversations. Now I can go on the internet and find tons of these conversations. I can go on the internet and find tons of conversations about how to get into cybersecurity. I rarely find about Black women or Black people getting into Linux, other than maybe myself, maybe Simone, maybe Yellowtail, maybe if they're doing some content or something like that. Very rare do I find that. And then when I start talking about system architect and Kubernetes, you'll find very few there as well too. But so here's where we lie. And do I think this conversation is important? I think this conversation is important, but um not at the great lengths that I see the videos. From everyone that want to call people the simps, the pick means, the alphas, the betas, the the whatevers, right? I've always said this Tamika talking, not speaking for D. When I meet a man, I don't know if he's the alpha, beta, gamma, role. I don't know. I just look at him and I see a man, and then we go from there. I don't know. There may be subtle instances like that you may as you conversate with someone, you may figure some things out. But my first initial thought, unless he got on and now no knock against you all, but now some men are wearing black fingernail polish and what have you. So I don't, I can't even go off of that. Yeah. Mm, I don't know, right? I don't know. But my thought process is this. Um, if I meet you, say I'm sitting at Ocean Prime and you come over to me at Ocean Prime because I've been sitting there chit-chatting it up. How am I supposed to know what your role is in my life? Like, I have questions about these conversations. Like, when does this happen? When do you figure out roles? Is this after you've had a couple of conversations? Is it when we meet? I'd be so confused. Let me know. Maybe I'm too old, but let me know. When does this happen? Just want to know.
Yeah, and then the fact that the young lady, it's like she's getting, she trying to play it off, but she getting a little offended that he's even asking this question. And I'm just like, why? Like, why can't you articulate? Like, if this is a team, like, why you can't articulate your position? Like, that just don't make sense. So if I'm first base, I know what my position is on the baseball team. I know what first base does. So if you the shortstop, you don't know what you do. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to do as a shortstop or as third base. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to do. So yeah, something is just weird. Yeah, and then the fact that the young lady said that you, as the man, you gotta show her something. And I'm like, where is that coming from?
Why do you feel like you don't? Again, pick better, right? Why do you feel like you don't? Like these conversations right here, I be having sitting out trying to rationalize. When are you supposed to show? Like you say you don't need and fellas, you let me know. You don't think as a man you're supposed to show her who you are? You just supposed to show up and you clock her upside the head like you clock her upside the head like this. You like you come with me, you mine. I agree, Heather. I liken it to skill set and money. Me personally, I don't know.
So what is the woman superior to the man now? Like the man gotta impress you, even though he's gonna be the one who's basically gonna be providing the whole structure for how y'all gonna be living and moving, but he gotta impress you. Like how does that work? So man, I'm confused as to where this mindset is really coming from, man, and how or if it's even possible to get to get our hands around it, because it's crazy. Yeah, it's like when is the last time I heard some lady talking about this guy? He got to impress her, like he got to show her something.
I just got a question to the ladies out there. How many of you had a father or an uncle in your life that told you that the man had to show you something? I'm just curious. Because I don't know no daddies that said just go with him because he looked like he gonna be okay with you. He looked like he all right. I don't know any fathers that tell their daughters this. So I have to ask the question, what are the fathers telling men? What are the fathers and the uncles telling you as men? That you don't need to show up, that you don't need to show anything, that it's okay for you to sag your pants, not brush your teeth, don't comb your hair. Don't just show up. You just step out there, she gonna like you. I'm seriously asking questions. What is it that your fathers are teaching you? Because I know what the fathers are saying to girls. The fathers are like, if and let me be blunt. The fathers are saying, if that nigga don't do more than me, that ain't the man for you. I'm telling you what they're saying. Here's the record to that. You would say that he is setting her up to be single. That's what you say back. That he is setting her up to be single. Then what is it that your father is telling you how to show up? What and how do you think you're supposed to show up? I'm just curious. Because again, as I've stated before, where are you meeting this woman at that can't provide for herself? Because you're like, and there's a post that Media Man made on, hey, we need if you're gonna meet them, they're like, I'd rather marry the woman who works at McDonald's. Great. You go marry her that works at McDonald's. That's great. And I'm not saying that that woman that's working at McDonald's can't teach your children, but education matters. At what point does this woman at McDonald's, if she has this skill set, whatever, has advanced skills to teach your children calculus, physics, science, engineering courses, prep, this, so forth, or so on. What do you're like, you don't care because you're a hired tutor, but you don't make enough money to hire a tutor. I'm confused. I'm just wondering. The equalizer, you say too many people are feeling themselves online, but offline they're chasing people who don't want them. I can agree with that. Jasmine, you say most of these debates are a contradiction. These men will have an answer for his listeners and another for his daughter. Exactly. And you say, as a man with a 3-year-old daughter, that is me and her mom's sentiments. My baby economically set up, so I pray she avoid these types. Exactly. What? But let them tell it. You setting your daughter up for failure. I'm just asking questions. If your father and your mother or father or family, let's be clear, people come from families, has set you up to receive an inheritance of a house, of a car, of a business, why would you not want to excel? Like what? Like why would you not want someone with the same things that you have or greater? It's a natural thing. You're not gonna like, oh well, you didn't give that man to give time to catch up to you, or you should now take your resources that's been given to you and you've taken and excel and go meet this man and help him get on his feet and help him to get to where you are. What? How does that work? I'm trying to understand the logic here. Why wouldn't she just go meet the guy that already has what she has? Because you're like the I have questions.
Like what? Yeah, I don't know, man. Y'all wearing me out, man.
And she couldn't articulate it because she didn't know herself, bro. That was it. So of course, what's the best pivot? It's to deflect, it's to refuse to answer the question, even when she admitted that it was a good question. So if it's such a good question, why would you pop the balloon?
But
That
Joe,
doesn't make sense. This is good
Joe.
money, but I'm gonna give it back to the bank. I'm gonna give
Well,
it
let
back.
me-
I'm gonna just burn it.
let me jump on. No, let me just jump on what you just said though, man. But that's where I'm going with it. Why can't she articulate it? Yep, if I was to interview that young lady for a job, she would be able to tell me her experience, what she's good at, who she used to work with, what kind of accolade.
You damn skip because I'm trying to get the job. Yeah, I can articulate what I've done, where I've been, because I'm trying to get the job. I don't know you. I just met you. Again, where are we at in this quote unquote pseudo relationship that we're talking about here? Did I just meet you at the, at the house event? Did I just meet you? Did two people introduce us? Where are we at? Like, I'm just trying to figure out where this is at. Yes, I can tell you about that. And I should be able to do that on a job interview. Are we saying that, are we equating a job interview to two people coming together to make one? It's a job interview. So if that is the case, she has to interview you too. You need to qualify. Why is that not a thing? Why do you think you just automatically qualify because you're the man? You don't automatically qualify because you're the woman. What are we talking about here? Yes, you need to qualify. Yes. Yes, you must qualify. Did you or did you not graduate from high school? If the answer is no, I have more questions. So if you didn't graduate from high school, okay, what did you do after high school? Okay, you went and did what? You started a business or what? No, if your answer is you had to do a bid after high school, you had to do 5 years in jail, 10 years in jail. You had to do a bid, son. You had to do a bid, son. I think my answer to you is going to be no. I'm not saying you can't be reformed, but due to the nature of my job, it don't work. I'm just saying. If you say I graduated from high school, if you say I went and got my GED, cool. You went and got your GED. What'd you do after that? I'm asking you for a reason because I want to know what your thought process is. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing after that? I have questions. What are you doing? Where are you going? What did you see for yourself? What did you dream? How did you see your life? I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you dreamed of. What did you put your effort into? Yeah. Yeah. Why wouldn't I want to impress a woman? I'm a fly dude. You damn right. That's right. Why wouldn't I want to look good for you? Why wouldn't I want to step out? Why wouldn't I want to smell good? You don't want to smell like oud? You don't want a little oud on you? Yeah. You don't want a little oud? You don't want to step out with your pinky ring, your flat shoes, your quarter zip. You don't want to be on the scene with the fresh fade, with the deep oceans, fresh ball hat shined up. You don't want to step out. What are we talking about? You don't want to step out. You don't want to look good. You don't want your rims shined up. You don't want to look good. You don't want to have 100,000 in your bank account, 2 million invested. You don't want that. You don't want that life. You ain't about that. You don't want no real estate. You don't want this. You don't want to own the business. You don't want to own the laundromat. You don't want to own the vending machine. You don't want to own the car detail shop. You ain't about that. That ain't it. That's not for you. Okay. Okay, you hustling hot dogs. What happens after you hustle the hot dogs? What happens after you open up the after hour spot? What else you got? I don't know no after hour spot that been around 20 years. I don't know no after hour spot that been around 20 years. Don't be mad at me because I'm like, yeah, let's go to Ruth Chris for happy hour. You mad at Ruth Chris? You know the hamburger is $20, right? I don't want to eat at Five Guys. No, I don't want to meet you at Outback Steakhouse. Not saying I'm against it. I just don't want to meet you there. It's not my thing. Not my ideal for a date. No, I don't want to meet you at the Chinese spot that turned into the club at night. I don't want to meet you there. I don't want to meet you there. I don't want to meet you there. Instead of going on an ice cream date, why don't we go on a date that makes ice cream? Right? Why don't we go on a date where you make your own ice cream? Instead of going on a date and having tea or coffee, why don't we go to a place where the date is to make coffee or to learn to make different coffees or how different coffees are made? Why can't we think outside the box? Why do we always have to have the actual date be a coffee date be the thing that we go to? I don't even drink coffee and I really don't even drink tea like that. So I just be sitting there looking at you like, so let me get this straight. I gotta get dressed. I gotta drive over. Gotta meet you. This, that, and other. Let me guess. Most people don't date an hour away. So we gotta meet in the middle because you're like, oh, you too far on the other side of town. We ain't doing that. Why can't we curate a date of experiences? Why can't we curate a date that has something that you can be like, you know what? That was cool. I like that. Why can't we go on a date that, you know what? One of the things I grew up wanting to do was learning how to play the piano or learn how to play the trumpet or whatnot. Let's go trumpet shopping and maybe we can do like create an experience. Create an experience. Listen to what the person is saying. Create an experience based on that. Why? Like, and I'm not telling you to go date 55,000 people, but my God, why can't we be creative on dates? What is so hard? You said you seen a high value video. Yeah, I say cooking all the time. A cooking date is a good date. I seen a high value video where the guy said if you ever open a car door for him, she's lost respect for you. The point of the date is to look. Girl, I can't. I can't. I can't. Where is the creativity? Like, listen, I'm all for the stroll in the park. But after we walk by the mile or two, I'm motherfucking hungry. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. We're gonna walk around the park for 2 miles. Okay, we're gonna walk around Piedmont Park for about an hour. We're gonna sit on the bench, maybe. We're gonna stop and get this glizzy, like y'all saying in the comments. You gonna ask me this? You gonna ask me? Can we go Dutch on this glizzy? You gonna ask to go Dutch on this glizzy because you like I don't really know you like that, and I'm just getting to know you. You mean tell me you can't buy me a glizzy with some ketchup and some mustard, little onions? You can't do that. Oh, okay. Just let me know. Just leave me alone. Let me stay at home. Let me go. You know what? You right. This ain't gonna work out for us. Let me go on and go on to Ruth Chris after this. Let me stop at Capitol Grill. Give me something to eat. Literally, no lie. Went out on a date with this guy, and he did everything in his power to try to make it disgusting to the point where he was literally, you know how they bring out butter in on the little tray sometimes. He was literally picking up the butter and was licking the butter. I was like, this is disgusting. I said, but he's doing everything in his power. And I was like, I'm not gonna let you ruin my time. I'm just not gonna let you ruin my time. But this is the state we're at, folks. This is what I see all the time. I mean, cross
how
social
it
media.
was in college. She'd be able to articulate all of that to me. If I was to go to that same lady and tell her, you know what I'm saying, I own the Mercedes-Benz dealership. You want to buy one of my cars? Tell me why I should sell you one of my cars. She's going to be able to articulate what her credit look like, what type of access she got, what type of credit card she got. But then when it comes to this one question, a man asking you, what is your role or what is your position when it comes to a man and a woman? It's like a lot of these ladies can never articulate anything. And I'm like, why is that?
I'm going to tell you why it is, Quay. The reason why she can't articulate is because she doesn't value. She hasn't met a man of value.
All right, so how do you meet a man of value? When do you determine his value? All right, you showed up in your quarter zip, you showed up in your nice boots and whatnot. Is that gonna make me? Is that your value, fellas? I'm asking, ladies, I'm asking. How do you determine that man's value? Right? How? How am I supposed to determine your value? Do you determine my value when I show up? I look nice, this, that, and the other, nails and stuff done. Does that determine my value? I'm just curious because I could have just went and got my nails done the day before, and they might not have been done for the last 4 years. I could have went and got my toes done the day before. Like how do you determine that? How do you determine value? I'm just curious because this will drive that question or answer, I should say.
She values that job. She values that Mercedes. If she felt value in that man, then she would be able to articulate it because.
But how do I find value in a man that I just met 10 minutes ago? How? I just met him. How do I value him? And how do I say what my role is going to be in his life? Hell, I don't even know who he is. He could be a serial killer. He could be a Grady baby.
Want that value, that leadership, that companionship, that whatever she's looking for. So she doesn't see the value. So her thing is, I'm valuable. So
But she is. She is valuable. Do you want to date women that don't have value? I'm curious. Do you want to date a woman that does not recognize her own value? Maybe that's it. Maybe you want to date a woman that doesn't recognize her own value and you feel like that you got to pour into her for her to recognize her value. I'm just curious.
prove to me. I am the car dealership. And you trying to get a car off my lot. That's how she's thinking. And I think that's where the value comes from. And when you're a high value man, a woman understands that.
What is a high value man?
Valuable to her. The way you think is valuable to her. the way you move is valuable to her.
How do I know how you move? I just met you. Again, context. When does this happen? When is this conversation happening? Is it after 4 dates? Is it after 5 dates? Are we just meeting? Are we getting introduced? I have questions. Can a woman be high value? I don't know. Is it only just men that's high value? I'm just asking. When do you provide value? I don't know. I just have questions.
And she'll come under that leadership and find her place to be that helpmate that you need. So that's when you have a real woman.
So okay, so to that point though, Vince, so I agree with you, right? So I definitely think that it is a value thing, but to your point, there's still an issue, right? So to your point, you just talked about that high value man, right? So that man, he gonna be able to articulate his value when he come in the situation. He gonna be able to tell you what he bringing. He gonna be able to tell you how he gonna take care of this, pay for this. He gonna be able to tell you where y'all we about to get this house and set up shop and do what we do. He gonna be able to tell you where we gonna be sending these kids. He's gonna be able to articulate all of those things. So my question is, if this woman, if she is truly a woman of value, wouldn't she be able to do the same thing, regardless of a man?
No. Because value is different for different people. So the thing that he's looking for, she's not valuable that way. And then also a man of value that has to really doesn't have to talk much.
These are your leaders. These are who you guys are following. Stay in the box, people. That's where you're at. That's your comfort. This is where y'all at. Y'all don't want to break out. Don't save. You don't want to be saved. Don't save. That's where y'all want to be at. You want to be in the box. That's where y'all want to be at. I'm convinced.
He does. So when you look at him, man, you'll see by the way he moves, okay, I can trust him. Okay, he's gonna take care of business. It ain't what I tell you what I'm gonna do, it's what I do.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Facts,
you know
facts.
by the way I move, I'm gonna get you that house. You know how by the way I move that I'm gonna take care of those kids. I don't have to tell you I'm gonna take care of those kids. You're gonna see the way I move.
That's a fact.
So I think that, and then everything is so nuanced now too. It's not like the traditional roles. I mean, you can be a traditional person, but you do really have to vet for what you in particular want. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was talking to some youngsters that go to Michigan, and it was like, do you want a traditional stay-at-home wife or do you want a working wife? It's about what you want because it's different. Your lifestyle is going to be different. The way you parent is going to be different. You know, it's not like everybody, you know, how our grandparents grew up. Dad worked at Ford, mom worked a part-time job. That was kind of.
How about dad worked at Ford and mama worked at Ford because they both worked together? They both make the same amount of money. Okay, what'd you say? This type of thinking on screen is very tiring at this point. It is. What'd you say, dude is just talking because he got lips? Yep. I just pointing out to you all, like, this is where we're at. And how do we go from this to bidding on these these contracts? And better yet, let me pull this up here. That it just passed the House. That $900 billion just passed the House, passed the Senate, and it has to go to the president and then become law. And in this bill here is all of the amendments that have been put into this bill, right? And we go back, you'll see all bills that are related to this as well. We're talking $900 billion, folks. And we're over here talking about if she provides value or not. That's where we're at. I mean, I have more, but I know we got to end. Mexico plans to build a Latin America most powerful supercomputer. If you've been following online, if you've been looking on Indeed, you're starting to see more jobs come up to work in Mexico. Companies moving over to Mexico. Again, the AI conference pricing in San Jose. Don't think that this conference is not going to be sold out for NVIDIA. They also have virtual pricing here, the exhibits, and then the conference itself. You want to do 4 days, or you just want to do 1 day, but you can do 4 days there. You want to get the certifications or whatnot. They still have time out there to get the certifications. I think the little price went down, the little thing went down, but I bought one. Google on pace to open the day with $4 trillion market cap. It will make it the third company ever to hit the milestone. Right. All right. Then we got here is, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when it comes to software acquisition pathway. What does it look like? How to be a part of this when we're talking about being able to be in the planning phase, the execution phase, so forth and so on. What does it look like if you want to be a part of being a part of a government contract? From looking at it from again, if I scroll all the way back up to the beginning of this, operation of software acquisition pathway, how to build your actual product, get it acquired by the government. What does that look like? When we're talking about this, what that path looks like. I could break this down. I was going to do that for the earners. Uh, looking at Google TPU. Why did AI? Why did ChatGPT, OpenAI, call a red alert? Because of the TPU from Google. Gemini, right? Scoring marketplace, introducing Gemini for government. Supporting the U.S. government with transformation with Google AI. What does that look like with not Google AI, but with their TPU and so forth? Here is more. A new era AI cuts volumes. Here we go. What they're talking about on that stage front. ICE. ICE is to recompete $100 million in cyber defense contract. Why we not on panels arguing about this? Why we not on panels? We need to have panels about that. Here, Brookfield launches $100 billion AI infrastructure program. This was back in November the 19th of 2025. What does that mean? What does AI infrastructure mean? Right? We're not online arguing about AI infrastructure. We're just out here working for companies. But there is a sector on building the AI infrastructure, which I talk about all the time. That sector right there, you want to be paid for the next 10, 15 years? Do that. Uber headhunted AI folks, then cut the contract. AI biggest winners when we're talking about government capital is becoming the most powerful force in AI investing. Government capital, AI infrastructure is entering a $1 trillion buildup. From Saudi Arabia, go look at that, go look at their contracts. I can go on. HPE scores $931 million contract to DoD's cloud migration progress, a little less public. ServiceNow in advance talks to buy security startup for at least $1 billion. We just saw IBM bought Confluent for $11 billion. The FAA is scrambling to hire 8,900 air traffic controllers by 2028. It's a crisis. You could go be an HVAC person, or you can go to work at air traffic controllers. There's other jobs out there. People retire from being an air traffic controller. Couple rakes in $9 billion as AI circuit board shares soar. AI circuit board shares. All right. Jeff Bezos, new AI venture, quietly acquired agentic computing startup. They raised over $6 billion. He acquired them. All right. Foxconn promises 1,300 jobs, get 16 million more for the in state money. Go look up Foxconn. Foxconn to invest an additional $569 million over the next 4 years. It's out of Wisconsin. Last but not least, this goes back into the ground central station. What are we doing, folks? What is going to be your 2026 going to look like? Are you going to be on the sidelines arguing about value, or are you going to be going to try to buy the dealership or the car that you want, or be the dealership, or be your own bank, or buy these houses, buy these lots? What are you going to do? Your choice is yours. I hope y'all enjoyed this session. It's been fun for me. We had covered a lot. Don't be on the sideline. If you want to stay in the box, this is not the show for you. If you want to get outside of the box, this is the show for you. This is the show for you, right? There is going to be more money made next year than you can possibly think of. And the question you got to figure out is, who are you? What role are you going to play in all of this? And on top of that, how do you get other people to be in the pool with you? So you can all eat. You don't need it. Doesn't need to be one person just eating. We all need to eat. Right? Does the Wednesday weekly classes have a fee? Yes. Your time. Your time. Yes. You said this is why I love the Black tech community, because they offer insightful advice, constantly rehearsing these dead ass relationships nowadays. Is unproductive. If we're not talking about how to figure out how to get on these government contracts, how to build up our consulting, how to build up our bids, if we're not working towards that, if we're not working towards buying the businesses and not being the employee in the businesses, then what are we doing? What are we doing? That's all I gotta say. All right, you guys have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. Catch you on the flip.